Namaste. Welcome back to second Gen NepCan Podcast. If you haven't watched our first episode with Krishni Lamichane, please do watch it. She has an amazing story to share, just like today's guest. We are here at London again with a very dynamic and hardworking personality. I, I I want to introduce him in a bit, but I want to tell you about my real reason why I started this podcast. Okay, I started this second gen NepCan podcast because I want to share the real story of Nepali Canadian and give a voice to experiences that often go unheard. Okay, today we have Aja Khanal, and I want to from this podcast I want to bridge the culture identity so that the next generation can feel connected to the roots and inspire in Canada. Okay, so welcome to second gen podcast, NepCan podcast, second episode, Aja Khanal.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, so I would like to introduce you in a very shorter span. Obviously, I will ask you to introduce yourself, but what caught my mind when I was drafting this podcast for you is, you have been, you have actually got to the ceiling of what the extra curriculum looks like, right? I mean, you have already done black belt in karate, right? You have swimming instructor role. You are into piano level 7, 8, right? And you were a Kumon instructor as well academically, right? And obviously, on top of that, you just finished your master, and you already have kind of 8 papers, and that will be published or have been published in a very international journal like New York IPS, AAAI, right? As I see this, you have capitalized everything you have in your arsenal, and that's how I got inspired to take this episode. Okay, so that's about it what I have seen, but I would like you to introduce yourself first, Aja.
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Aja. I was actually born in Nepal, and then we moved to Singapore immediately after, and then we moved to Canada when I was 1, and then I guess 4 years later we came here in London, and ever since then I've been here for the last 20 years. So it's been an amazing time growing up here in London. Like you said, a lot of extracurriculars, a lot of hard work. My parents invested a lot of their time and effort into raising me, and trying to do the best that I possibly can. And it's been a good time, getting to experience all of these things, and being able to grow here in London. So I'm happy to share that all here today.
Awesome. That's what we are here for. All right, let's start with the basic question, right, Aja? What do you mean by Aja? A-J-A. If I didn't spell it wrong. A-J-A. Aja, right?
Yes.
And does this name relates to you anyway?
That's a very good question. I believe it comes from Sanskrit. Something about Lord Vishnu.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it means immortal or the unborn.
Mm-hmm.
The deeper meaning behind that you would probably need to ask my parents, but yeah, I guess to me it means, I don't know, anything in the universe I can achieve, you can achieve. There is no limit.
Got it. Sky is the limit.
Sky is the limit.
Good.
Yes.
Awesome. That's great. Okay. Thank you for the introduction. I just want to talk about the upbringing part, right? Because that's where the people see the fruits of it, but there is a root already there, right? Like that's a seed that we're talking about. So let's talk about the upbringing first, okay?
Sure.
Growing up between two cultures, right? We have fully Nepal, like we have Nepalese culture, we have Canadian culture, right? What moment made you feel that you're not fully Nepali and you're not fully Canadian as well? And how did you make sense of this identity gap?
Right, that's a good question. So I guess at home we were raised with pretty strict Nepali values. Culture was a really big thing growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you go to school, you see all sorts of different characters, different personalities, and you're growing up in the Canadian way, right? I guess early on, um, you would notice this as a child,
Mm-hmm.
but it was kind of a sense of acceptance, right? Like this is who I am, this is who I need to be, and this is what it's going to be going forward. Learning to accept this mix was a very big part of growing up, and it's not so much that one part is pulling on the other, but it's more so how we can make both of these work together. And that was, I guess, that a challenge that I had growing up, but I think a challenge that I overcame, and it was a good experience for sure.
Okay, cool. So at least you feel it, you
Mhm.
accept it, and tell me about how did you go from like what do you say? I have this to okay, I can overcome this, right? What are the things that you have done that make you feel that?
I guess it's more so a thing of balance, right? So in school, they will there's I guess the North American holidays and things like that that we need to like learn about, and of course our classmates will are very into these kind of things. But then at home, we have our own Nepali things, the cultural things, right? So I guess it's important about just learning these two cultures.
Mm-hmm.
I guess understanding the similarities and the differences between the two,
Mm-hmm.
and that really helps you know helps one grow up in this kind of environment. Also having a good like um, supporting cast in the back. Obviously family is a very big thing, but also the friends you make along the way,
Yep.
that ultimately helps as well.
Yep, yep. So I whenever I sit with the second gen people here, I would like to ask them, what do you feel about your roots, right? Your Nepali culture, and how do you feel about your Canadian culture? Obviously, right? They are in between them. Um, I would like to ask you, like, how do you define the Canadian culture, and how does it, how does it differ from the Nepali culture as per your experience?
It's a good question. In Canada, the culture is very individualistic. It's more so I will do this, I will do that. This is my goal. Whereas in Nepal, it's more of a community, right? Like we will do this together. We will help each other out. So it's like a kind of an opposite, but um, it's a good opposite, I would say, right?
Okay.
It's a good way to understand how both of these systems work.
Mm-hmm. Where are you more comfortable right now? In this phase of life, I would say.
I mean, growing up in Canada, for I guess my whole life, right? I guess I'm more aligned with that side of things, but I do understand the Nepali side as well.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
you're skewed towards the Canadian side because you are here, right?
Yes, exactly.
That makes sense. All right, it's good. Now let's talk about. So when I said there are so many extracurricular activities that you're involved in, I would like to know how did you achieve that, right? So let's think about Aja in like say let's say 10 years before, right?
Yes.
How would that Aja achieve what you have done today, right? Talk about your daily routine or something or a schedule, right? Or any habits that you have inculcated in during this period. I would like to know about that.
Right. So in high school, I guess with all these extracurriculars, it was more so a thing of like balance because from 2 o'clock to or my bad from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock that was schooling, right? I was at school, obviously nothing I can do there, but then at home, you have the homework, you have the extracurriculars and things like that. So it's more so a thing of like time management and then balance as well, because these extracurriculars they would take like hours for sure, right? Piano, for example, I would need to practice every single day. Then we have lessons every week, right? So you need to be prepared for these lessons. For Kumon as well, I eventually ended up working as a Kumon instructor, so I need to devote time every afternoon for that as well. So the main challenge with this was essentially just managing time, making sure I had everything under control. I wasn't falling too behind in any extracurriculars or school or anything like that. So that was the importance, like just maintaining balance throughout.
Got it. All right. So now the next question it would be like, what percentage of that can you attribute to the parents, right, or the home environment, right? I think one of the good lesson that I learned from Think and Grow Rich, right? That they said environment is the best ingredient for anything to grow, right? So talk me about your parents. So I would like to talk in Nepali as well. हामीले अझको जति पनि जर्नी अहिले राम्रो देखिरहेको छौँ त्यसलाई मलजल गरेर तिमी यस्तो भएको हो नि त होइन सो त्यसमा तिम्रो फ्यामिलीको कस्तो कन्ट्रिब्युसन रह्यो होइन कस्तो खाले सपोर्टहरू चाहिँ तिमीले पाएको जस्तो फिल हुन्छ तिमीलाई होइन यो किन मैले सोधिरहेको छु भने लट्स अफ प्यारेन्ट्स हेभ नो आइडिया क्या कसरी सपोर्ट गर्ने राइट एन्ड यु हेभ बिन इन द्याट सु एज वेल सो यु हेभ अ सिस्टर एज वेल एन्ड सिस्टरलाई पनि तिमीले राम्रै हेरिरहेको छौ होइन सो यु हेभ बिन द्याट इन्स्ट्रक्टर अर यो चाहिँ त्यो होमली इन्भाइरोमेन्ट क्रिएट गर्न सफल भएको छ क्या सो वाट कन्ट्रिब्युट्स इन द्याट फ्याक्टर
So I would say it was obviously a 50-50 effort between my parents and I. They obviously pushed me to do all these things. They devoted a lot of their time driving me to different places, especially when I did soccer. We need to travel so far away, right? So without their dedication, without them putting in the time, I wouldn't have been able to achieve this. But also there's the individual factor as well, right? If I did not put the time in myself, I wouldn't have been able to do these extracurriculars. So obviously they helped create the foundation for this, and then I was able to build on top of that. So I would say 50-50, but there's a lot of support, of course.
So you do acknowledge that
Yes,
parents
100%.
have been a foundation for you.
100%, yes.
So then, what is the driving factor for Aja then, right? You have all the environment with you, but what was driving you? You know, still driving, obviously, right? But what was driving you that time?
I would say, me personally, I'm a very competitive person. I want to always achieve like the best I can possibly do.
Correct.
So if you give me a goal, I'll try my hardest to achieve that. Even if it's something that doesn't really interest me, I just kind of always want to be the best,
Correct.
which is probably why like I've been able to do all these things in the past and even right now. I'm just very competitive.
Got it. I think it is working on your favor. All right. You know, when I talk to certain age like the age group like yours, I feel they are pretty much disconnected with the parents in the sense that they have formed their one bubble, their one circle, and they cannot adjust there with the parents, right? So you know, parents cannot come up in that bubble, and you are alone there, and so you have to bring like a peer or support there, right? So that's the bubble that you are talking about. I'm talking about. So tell me about a belief or a value from your parents, right, that have been passed down from Nepal, okay, that you didn't understand as a kid, right? You never understand at the young age, but now when you see it, it form who you are now, right? So tell me about that value that parents has passed on to you.
It's a good question. I would say hard work. Both my parents are very hardworking people. Everyone in my family in Nepal, they're pretty hardworking as well. Like my grandparents, of course. Seeing this being passed on from generation to generation, I think it kind of like came on to me as well.
Run through the family.
Exactly. So seeing them working so hard while growing up, it kind of inspires me to do the same thing and achieve, you know, things that they've achieved as well. I want to build off of that as well. So that would be one value that I think has been passed
Awesome,
on.
and that I think that is what any parents should be proud of, right? They are able to cultivate that habit in you, and that's great. So this is kind of personal question, but I would like to ask this anyway. If your parents could see the world through your eyes for one day, right, Aja? What part of your experience do you think would surprise them the most?
That's a good question. What part of my daily life?
Yeah, you can say anything. Maybe your future. I don't know.
I guess it's how much time I dedicate to one thing. Because when they see me, they probably just think I'm just doing my own thing, but there's a lot of concentration, a lot of like stuff that's actually going on when I'm actually working. Obviously, like I'm on the computer like a lot because my master's and work, right? It's a computer job after all. But you know, behind the screen, there's a lot of things going on. So I would say that, yeah, the level of commitment that I have towards the things that I do.
Okay. So just taking that hard labor, you know, to like a 10x, right? And yeah, they won't. Obviously, most of the people won't see it, right? Because that's the behind scene.
Exactly.
Whatever you see now, it has already been like predestined, or like you have done the hard work already. It's just the fruits that you are reaping, like Yeah, so that's how it is. Let's talk about your journey, right? Being an IT guy again, we can talk for like 3 or 4 hours for in IT, job and all. But I want to pinpoint your IT journey into something that the other person can inspire to, right? One thing, do you remember we spoke? I think 3 years back or somewhere, like
Yes.
in the social event, just like that, where your mom parents came and then you were there, and then we have a chat. That time you were searching for the internship, right? Um, so when you look back at yourself in 2022, at that as well, right, searching for the internship, what internal struggle were you dealing with that no one knew about?
Well, that was a difficult time because I believe it was during the pandemic as well, during COVID. And when I was searching for that internship, I was also like a full-time student, right? So the biggest struggle would be just juggling all of these different things, right? We have an external factor, the pandemic, that is influencing the job market. It's influencing, I guess, our overall health and things like that. It's scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I had to balance school.
Yep.
Obviously, I need to like maintain a certain average, even like be in the internship program to maintain honors, things like that. And then there's the stress of interviewing for different companies and landing that position. So there was a lot of things I had to
What
juggle.
was your age, by the way, that time?
I believe 20 or 21.
21. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, yeah, just juggling everything. That was the biggest struggle. Because I saw moments there would be an assignment, an exam the next day, and then an interview afterwards.
Yes.
Extremely stressful, but
It's context switching all the time.
exactly, and that's very, very difficult to do. But I'm glad that that thing is over. It's in the past now. I've moved on from that. But that was, I guess, one of the struggles of that time period.
Cool, cool. I understand. Being in a tech field, you always have to upgrade yourself, search for new opportunity, learn new thing, right? It's always the same thing. It's a loop.
Right.
Exactly. Let's talk about IT journey, right? Look, why do you like tech so much? Like, what do you feel when you are into that zone? When you say you spend a couple of hours like in laptop itself or the monitor itself, what does what gravitates you towards the tech?
Right. So I don't really like doing the same thing every single day. Those like mundane jobs where you lock in at like 9 to 5, same thing all over again. What I do is a little different. Even throughout my undergrad, my master's, and also right now when I'm working, every day is a little different. Every day gives me a different set of challenges that I need to overcome. It gives me a new set of problems, and I'm like someone who really, really likes solving problems. If you give me a problem to solve, I will try to solve it as hard as I can, no matter how long it takes. I guess that's a flaw of myself, right? I'll spend a lot of time, too much time than that I need to solve a certain issue, but I'm a natural problem solver, and that's what really drives me in this field. It's not so much that the coding that I like to do or like the things that I see on the screen, but it's more so the goal that I achieve. You give me a problem, and if I can achieve that problem, that is what I really like about this.
Feels like a AI talking to me. But if that is the flaw, I think I would love embrace that flaw, right? Aja? That's a good flaw to have. That's great. So I've seen your paper, like you can check the scholar.com. I'll link it down below as well.
Scholar,
But you
yeah.
have like 7 or 8 papers. Some of them are published. They are on the verge of publish. I see, like I just saw that, and then I see that you are working on advanced AI system, right, that generate data, defend against attacks, and self-improve using multi-agent collaboration. And that's dope. Like why I'm saying this, because that's the direction that they are going: security, data generation, and with the multi-agent, right? So talk me about your journey of this, right? How do you prepare yourself for those paper, and then how is it going? What's your next vision, like what's your next step on that one?
Right. So I got started in research and academia in my 4th year of my undergrad. That was a time where these generative AI models, they were like emerging, like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. They weren't very known, but people knew of them. But in research, there was a gap for sure. Um, the way I started was obviously by reading a bunch of research papers. Keep reading and see what interests you, and just go deeper and deeper until you cannot find any more literature. that is the research gap. And then from that gap, I work with my supervisor in my fourth year to kind of um, fill in that research gap and solve that problem. And same thing with the masters, right? We were able to build off of our undergraduate research and publish in very, very top venues in the machine learning community. So I guess it's more so of just having that genuine interest and being able to dive deeper into the literature and just finding that gap that will help me, create these research papers at the end.
Got it. Yeah. So I saw your citation as well. You have been like your paper has been cited for a few times as well, and that is good, right? That tells you that you have done something good. Okay. One question on that, Aja. So when you do this, so I see the way I see it when I spend like I've almost spent 11 12 years in IT. The way I see the paper presentation or the research paper that we have versus what we do is practically, right, in IT job or IT industry, there seems to be a gap, right? Whatever they publish cannot be directly, obviously, they won't go to the production area, I would say, right? But that builds a foundation for sure.
Yeah.
And a sharp mind like you who have done this research are the one who should do this, right? And right now you're working with the JD Power, right? So what kind of things that you are doing right now which relate to what you do in the machine learning world right now?
Right. So that's a very important point that you make, because what I've noticed in academia is that we will do research of things such as multi-agent systems like a year or two before it reaches industry. So a lot of my early work in my master's in 2024, we were doing on multi-agent AI, agentic AI, generative AI, these kind of things. At that time, we didn't really touch on this in the industry, right? But now at JD Power, we're seeing there is a AI first initiative. We are trying to use AI or generative AI as much as we can when we try to code and things like that. And even within the company, they're trying to create their own multi-agent system and able to help the general workflow for our software engineers. So that's a interesting thing that I've noticed, right? Just the gap that we see.
Yep.
We will do research like a year or two before, and then eventually it'll get integrated within industry.
There was a paper called "Attention is All You Want," and I think that
Yes.
that was the basis for Chat GPT kind of LLM models, right?
It's a
So
very
people
famous
don't
paper.
know that, I guess,
Yes.
right? So anyway, that's IT talk. I don't want to bore
Yeah.
with the IT talk here. Let's get back to the roots. That's a subject that I like a lot. How do you find, Nepali roots? I mean, like, I think you have been blessed with the parents who are very much connected to the Nepal. I mean, I've seen in our Yadav Dai and Vijay ma'am. We have met so many times, and then every time I go there, I talk with them. I feel that they have the sense of belonging here and as well as in Nepal, right? So I would like to ask you one question. How do you see the Nepali culture right now, like at this age?
The Nepali culture is very good. It's a very deep culture. It's got a lot of history to it, and there are very, very core cultural values that I think it's important for everyone to understand, whether you're Nepali or not, right? Nepali culture is very, very deep, and I believe it's played a big role in my upbringing for sure, and I hope I can obviously learn more about it as I grow older. But
Tell me about a peculiar thing that your, I would say, mother, right? Mother do as opposed to connect with the Nepal. So what are the things that she do every day or in a week? Do you notice anything like that in her day-to-day activities or something like that?
yeah, I mean, we call her family like every single day.
Okay.
My grandparents in Nepal, my uncle in California. Every day we're having phone calls, so that would be a way of connecting with Nepali culture, just talking with family and things like that, and seeing what's going on with everybody's lives, and understanding that. So I think that is something she does every day, stay connected.
Okay. So what is one thing that about Nepal that stays with you? Have you been to Nepal?
Yes, I have.
Obviously, you were 1 year old when you shifted here. What about after that? Like, have you been to Nepal after that?
Yes, I was there 2 years ago
2
actually.
years ago.
My
Okay,
cousin's wedding.
okay.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It was good. There's a lot of people in Nepal.
Okay.
Very busy place, but it's nice. The nature is beautiful.
Yeah.
Nepal is a beautiful country. So
Do you talk to the people there? Like, obviously, you talk with the siblings and
Yeah.
family members. Apart from that, like, did you go any tour or any visit to any site at such
um,
in your
I believe last time not really. We just stayed in the main city,
got it?
but we went to like all the tourist areas and things like that. It was good. Yeah, I had a chance to talk with some of the people
Locals,
like at the
yeah.
restaurants and things like that. They would make fun of my accent, but it is what it is.
I'm sorry for that.
But no, it's good talking with people from Nepal. It gives you a sense of understanding of what they've been through and the kind of the differences that we have um, in our lives between Nepal and Canada. So it's a very good learning experience for sure.
Okay, provided that your parents want to go to Nepal in next year, not permanently, temporarily, you would happily go there, right?
Of
I get the
course.
sense that.
Yes. of
Okay,
course, yes.
people don't want to go to Nepal. That's sad, but yeah, that's the experience that they have, and I think you have pleasant experience so far. That's good. So, if you could tell me about one thing that stay with you, even after this long year in Canada, what is that one thing that stay with you from Nepal?
It would definitely be um, community. Everybody is one. Everyone works together. They want to upbring each other as a community. That would be the one thing that will stay with me
Okay.
forever, I would say.
Community. Do you see that happen here, like a mini part of it, or
Of
You're
course I
getting
do.
it, right?
Yes, our Nepali community in London has grown so much over the last few years, and I really like seeing everybody gathering together and just sharing the same core value.
Nice, nice, nice. And it was wonderful seeing you during our temple, Pretty Bowls in the Hindu temple, right?
Yes,
we,
yes.
Yeah, we had a good time, and then it was for the people. It was for the people who needs. We are giving this for free, right? There was nothing involved, and then we did give a Pretty Bowls to pretty much 100 people there, and we solved better.
Right.
We solved them good. So right. So if you want to redesign the relationship between this second generation Nepali and the Nepal, what would you change in that case?
I think right now it would just be more so about educating the second generation about Nepali culture and kind of teaching them, not only just cultural values but the similarities and differences between Canada and Nepal.
Yep.
Helping bridge that gap would be very, very important in their own understanding. Education, culture, and I think family values from
Yeah.
Nepal as well, because they are obviously very different in Canada. But just understanding these similarities and differences and bridging the gap would be very, very beneficial for the new generation.
Sure. And when you talk about community, I think that's the another area that I really want to pick on. So I just have one question for you. If so, I'm a president in Nepalese Committee of Ontario. You know that, right? If there is any possibility of transferring the Nepalese culture or roots to potentially the interested cohort of Nepali born Nepali people here, would you be interested to be like a mentor or be a part of it?
Of course.
Right?
Of course, yeah.
I just have that initiative in my mind, and then I'll talk more about it later.
Sure.
All right, so let's talk about community, right? From your perspective, Aja, as a second gen youth, right? What is the Nepali community doing well, as per your experience?
Nepali community in Nepal or in
Here.
London? Where are they doing well?
Yeah.
I would say these big events that we have, just bringing everyone together.
Okay.
I'm surprised with the sheer number of people that we've been able to get at these events. Many new faces that I've never seen before, and it really helps strengthen our Nepali community here in London. So that's what I really, really like to see. And if we can do that even more and reach out to more and more people in our London area, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's the way we are going ahead, and then we'll keep growing. Obviously, we'll keep
course.
growing. So that's about the good. Now I would like to talk about the ugly and the bad. Obviously, right? There are ugly and bad. So, tell me about your experience about any bad thing, or the ugly thing that you have heard, that as a society or as a community we are doing, and that we can improve on
In London,
anywhere
uh,
in Canada. I mean,
in Canada,
yeah.
I'll try to be very careful. My words.
I just
This,
put in the hot seat.
I guess there's a bit of politics.
Okay.
If we can maybe try to reduce that and go back to core Nepali values of community,
Hmm.
that'd be very important.
From the second gen youth lens, right? What are the things that is happening because of that thing you're saying, politics? Okay, so what do you think is actually, like, how does it affect you as a second gen youth?
Um,
Sorry again.
Let me think here.
Sure.
Politics. I guess it kind of hinders community outreach for the youth.
Okay.
We want to do things. We want to get involved,
Mm-hmm.
um, but these barriers cannot exist for that to happen.
Cool. Got it. So, if you want to, so what are your expectation from the community now moving forward? You are 21, 22 now. You will be there in the community, obviously, right? But what are the things that we are expecting from the community, like NCL or any Nepalese community moving forward?
I would like more outreach with people from like different values within our Nepali community. Of course, like you said, not everyone has the same upbringing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
More outreach to youth as well, seeing who wants to get more involved in the community and who can help the community do better would be beneficial. So I guess outreach and getting more people involved for sure.
All right. We recently have this youth empowerment program from Coach Manju Basnet. What we did that day is we prepare a pasta for, I think, 100 person individual, and we deliver that, and it was prepared by the youths, right?
Mhm.
We prepared that in the kitchen, and we gave that to homeless people in downtown, and we came back, and Coach Mandu Basnet explained what we did actually. It's a seva, right? At the end we are giving them free, right, with our effort, like, so that was a really hit thing. And then we are trying to do it quarterly, right? Like, at least it depends on so many factors, but we want to do it often, and then we see youth are really enjoying that and learning the value in between, right? That's one of the thing. So let's talk about my channel is also about mindset, right? And so far we have thoughts a bit on mindset, but let's talk about the thinking and the mindset piece here. Okay, so what assumption about second generation kid that needs to be challenged, as per your experience?
I guess one assumption that older generations have is that we are too whitewashed with the um, system here in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not necessarily true.
Okay.
Obviously, we had different systems growing up, but with proper, education and things like that, just teaching um, the second generation about what Nepal is, that would really, really help. But that is, I guess, one assumption I would say.
Why, it's just sorry to cut you off, but why do you think that they feel that, right? What are the, let's say they might have some yardstick or any traits that they are seeing in the second young generation, right? So what do you think are, like, they are, what's going behind the scene?
The reasoning for this assumption, I would say, is one would be the differences between upbringing, right? It's very different growing up in Canada versus Nepal,
Mm-hmm.
which leads to number two, the expectations that they have will be different as well because
Okay.
of this different upbringing, right? The foundation itself is just different, so now the expectation will differ.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if older generations and younger generations both understood these differences, it would really help, clear out any of these assumptions for sure.
Okay, so you have to iron out those gap. I think first identify that, right?
Yes.
They are very bad at identification, I guess. I don't know, but you can tell me more about it in my next question. So, Aza, what kind of, like, there is a conflict that I see within the second gen itself, right? And the conflict is that might be superficial, but this older generation gives that vibe that they don't understand the second generation, right? And I quite dwell into this question, like, why are they not understanding them? And it's the same side for you as well, right? Second generation, older generation, they seems to have a lot of misunderstanding. So what kind of internal conflict do you experience with this older generation, right? And that makes you feel, I'm not being understood, so what kind of internal conflict you have? That's,
I guess growing up, I'll give you a good example because I used to play a lot of video games, right, in my free time, and I don't think my parents really understood the whole concept behind playing so many video games, right? They would think, obviously for a good reason, they would think it would affect studies and extracurriculars and things like that. Your eyes, especially, right? Like your sleep, if you're playing games really, really late. Um, and I guess it's a relatively like new concept. I would say like
Yeah.
last few decades. I would say so. Um, that is something that I find very interesting. Um, but I think they realize that a healthy balance is very very important, right? And I would like to say I've been able to balance, my free time and my work pretty well. But at the same time, it's important for kids to understand that um, our parents, they grew up in a different environment as well, and they have expectations, especially when they come to Canada. And it's important for us to be able to help them fulfill these expectations as well.
yep, 100%.
They say these things for a good reason, right? They're not saying it for no reason at all.
Yeah, that's what they learn, right? That's their upbringing, and then you cannot change the course of the thing that they have done in the past. But yeah, that's how we bridge the gap, I guess. Like you said, a balance, and also being vocal about it, right? Many people don't, like, many you don't want to talk at all, right? But I think at least you should give one or two chance, I guess, to the parents who have brought you up in this world, and then they're also trying to adjust. I feel, right, because they're also new to this this side of the world, like you said, which have very the cultural shock is real. People don't understand that, but this podcast was actually designed to understand the internal things, like the internal system that we have in Canada, right, and the mindset that the second generation have. I want to see, I want to share this podcast to as much as parents as possible, right, and then they can see the other side as well, which
Right.
they won't get otherwise. Okay, thank you, Azza, for the wonderful answer regarding the gap between the older generation and your generation, that second gen, right? Now let's talk about some advice to your age and also the parents. Okay, I see you have lots of individual contribution, right? You have done lots of thing, achieved lots of thing at your age, but it's a nature that in this age you'll get lots of distraction, right? As you said, you have to balance the things out. There's a hormonal change happening in your body, and then you might not be aware of that if you're not researched or your parents didn't tell you, right? So for the juniors, right, to be successful, okay, can be different for every people,
Right.
but to be successful, what are the key ingredients you feel that you have inculcated in your life, Aja,
To be successful,
Yeah.
the key ingredients
for the youths?
for you. One would be understanding the different expectations. Not just so much that what the expectation is, but like why that expectation is set. That would really help, achieve that goal. Um, and then number two is if it's like a big thing that you need to achieve, I would say really like break it down into like um, little subtasks along the way, so it's easier to kind of quantify. Um, for example, in piano, right?
Yep.
Playing, if you're starting out at a very very beginner level, playing like 8 times a day perfectly, that would be a good like subtask
Got
for
it.
your overall goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess for karate, just going to class as much as you can. These would be small quantifiable things that you can do in order to achieve the overall goal. And then lastly would definitely be learning how to manage your time,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're doing a lot of things at the same time and if you get overwhelmed, things can definitely get lost, right?
Yep.
So that is, of course, is a very important skill
Mm-hmm.
that I think everyone should have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So don't get distracted. You should focus and manage your time. That's the mantra. Okay, so I want to switch into Nepali here because I want to ask this question in Nepali. Okay, so although you can answer in English, that's fine. But try to speak Nepali. Okay. एउटा कुरा चाहिँ कस्तो छ भनेदेखि नेपाली प्यारेन्ट्सले चाहिँ लट्स अफ नेपाली प्यारेन्ट्सले चाहिँ यो हाम्रो बच्चाहरूलाई चाहिँ म यहाँ हुर्काइरहेको छु क्यानाडामा भनेर हुन्छ नि भनेर नै दे आर प्रेसराइजिङ क्या आई फिल है मैले मेरो मात्रै एक्सपिरियन्स भन्नु छु आई फिल दे आर प्रेसराइजिङ त्यो हुन्छ नि बच्चालाई धेरै प्रेसर दिएको जस्तो लाग्छ क्या एन्ड द एक्सपेक्टेसन अगेन होइन एन्ड दे आर नट एबल टु कम्युनिकेट द्याट एज वेल म तिम्रो लागि नै यो गरिरहेको छु सो द्याट तिमी राम्रो हुन्छौ एट द एन्ड भन्ने कुरा जुन मैले बुझिरहेको छु नि यस्तो कुरा यो कुरा चाहिँ नेपाली प्यारेन्ट्सले किन बुझिरहेको छैन होइन अर बुझे भए पनि उनीहरूले चाहिँ किन त्यस्तो एक्सपेक्टेसन किन हाई हाल्छन् होइन त्यो प्यारेन्ट्सहरूलाई चाहिँ तिमी के भन्न चाहन्छौ
Obviously, parents want to do the best for their kids,
Mhm.
so they have high expectations. I guess the feeling of when parents have when their kids don't meet these expectations, it kind of comes down to their sacrifice that they made coming to Canada.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a very big thing, right? To move halfway across the world, essentially start a new life, and everything like that. So it's not good seeing kids not fulfill up to that dream. I believe that would be the main root of this. But I guess to the next generation, I would say is to try to understand, I guess where your parents came from. I guess the sacrifices that they made, and then why they have these kind of expectations for sure.
Okay, so as a 22 years old, यो जुन यङ टिनहरू छ नि होइन जुन चाहिँ अहिले स्टार्ट गर्दैछ मेबी कलेज स्टार्ट गरेर छ होइन दे हेभ अ डिफ्रेन्ट जोन दे हेभ डिफ्रेन्ट एनर्जी अभियसली राइट यु क्यान फिल द्याट एट द्याट टाइम तर कतिजना चाहिँ आई फिल दे आर लस्ट बिट्विन दिस टु कल्चर क्या यु नो लाइक क्यानेडियन कल्चर नेप्लिज कल्चर एन्ड दे डोन्ट नो वाट टु डु अर हु आर दे येट राइट सो अगेन आफ्नो इन्टरनल कन्फ्लिक्टहरू चलिरहन्छ होइन त्यस्तोलाई चाहिँ तिमी के मेसेज दिन चाहन्छौ अझ
If for the youth that are torn apart
juggling
between
between that
two cultures, how I would help them.
yeah like what's the message that you want to convey
I guess the message would be everything will work out. It's important to view the world not through just one static lens, but two, because of course coming to Canada, we have a mix, right? And it's important to balance that as well. So see the world in two different lenses, I would say. If there's a situation, try to see it from two sides, rather than just one. Try to think of other people that may be involved as well, not just yourself, right? Like I said before, Canada is very individualistic, whereas Nepal is very communal, right? Try to see it through the lens of other people as well.
yeah
I believe that would help.
being
for sure.
empathetic I
Yes.
think that's one other way to put all right so that will be a question for the youths and answer to the youths and parents I would like to talk about the future as well as I think you are a futuristic person as well because you have achieved a lot because you have dreamed of it before right I think you have that energy and also I felt that like I felt the vibe of a fatherly figure right at your age I have no idea what I was doing but you are doing a great job at maintaining that family relationship and as well as accelerating your career right and that's I think that's one of the things that I have always been trying to do but I haven't been to okay so imagine you like so right now it's 22 right let's say 32 so you are at 32 age what parts of Nepal and what parts of Canada do you hope remain in you that age after 10 years?
So, the sacrifices that people make in Nepal, because I believe in Nepal you need to kind of work harder than here in Canada to achieve the same thing. Understanding that hard work will always stay with me for sure. Um, the communal aspect of Nepal, like I mentioned before, is a very, very important thing. That I will pass down, to my kids as well, hopefully.
Cool.
And then in Canada, I would just say, having that goal-setting mentality, the individual work ethic as well, can really help strengthen that hard-working mentality from Nepal. So it's building one on top of the other.
Got it. All right. So it goes parallel, I guess.
Yes.
That's good. That's a great answer. So if this episode is watched by a Nepali kid who is 10 years old, right? What part of your story will inspire him the most, him or her the most?
I hope that they can take away that, any goal that you have in mind, as long as you put in the work, you put in the effort, you'll be able to achieve it, especially here in North America for sure. It's a land of opportunities.
Yes.
So anything you put your mind to, you'll be able to achieve.
Yeah, land of opportunity if you look
That's
that
true.
way, right? Otherwise, it can go reverse as well. It's the mind that plays the thing. So, okay. So, this is the end of the questions, but I have one last thing that I can say to you, and it's called rapid fire round. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Sure.
All right. So, you can answer me one or two word or one sentence at
Sure.
most, okay? So, Nepal or Canada? Where do you feel more yourself?
Canada.
Okay. One Nepali food that you will never get tired of.
Oh, I love momos.
Momos. By the way, it's momo. I don't know how it translates to momos, but we should call it momo, I guess, as
Momo.
per the internet thing. Okay.
For sure.
One Nepali phrase you use the most at home.
That's one phrase my parents use the most. Kana out.
Because they want to feed you.
Yes.
Cool. First programming language that you love.
Java. I learned that in high school. I continue to use it to this day.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Mac or OS? Mac or Windows? Sorry.
Windows.
Windows? You're a Windows guy. Android, yeah. One thing that Canada does better than Nepal.
Infrastructure.
Nice. Infra. That's great. One thing that one thing that Nepal does better than Canada.
Community.
Community, yeah, you have been vocal about it.
Yes.
If you are not in IT, Aja, what career would you choose?
Pure mathematics.
Yeah, stat guy. Cool. One Nepali value you'll teach your future kids.
Culture.
Culture. Okay. Nepali culture?
Nepali culture. Yes,
Okay,
of course.
okay.
Yes.
Your dream tech company to go for?
Any big lab, research lab.
Research lab. Okay. Any favorite Nepali festival that you know of?
Tihar.
Tihar. Okay.
Yes.
I think your mom will be very happy that day. Cool. One habit your parents have that you secretly love?
Their work ethic.
Cool. Okay. I think they will know now. It's not secret. Coffee or chia?
Chia.
Chia? Okay. Who makes the best chia?
Probably my mom.
Good. We'll have it afterwards.
Of course.
A song, a Nepali song that instantly changes your mood.
Nepali song.
If you know any.
I don't know.
Okay. You have never listened to any Nepali songs before?
I have. I don't really
Remember. All right. Or you can say English song.
Oh, English. Let's do "Time Flies" by Drake.
Ooh, great. Yeah. You recently had this 3 album
Yeah,
released,
yeah.
right?
Like,
right
yesterday.
in Toronto. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yesterday. Yeah. It's not that far. Okay.
Yeah.
The coolest tech project you have ever built.
My master's thesis.
Oh, that's great. All right. Okay, so that's the end of the podcast, Aja. I had a dose of fun with you and then in this insightful conversation. Do you have anything that you want to share that I didn't ask in this?
Well, I had an amazing opportunity sharing my upbringing with you. I guess the overall message would be balance. Learn the balance between the two cultures, the similarities, the differences, and try to achieve the best that you can be.
Cool. Can you speak one or two sentences in Nepali, just for the context?
So what do you want me to say?
You can say anything. Like let's talk about how you feel about this podcast in Nepali language.
Your podcast एकदमै राम्रो for the youth.
Cool.
It's a good learning experience.
Cool. No worries.
Yes.
That's the end of it. Thank you so much, brother. We'll have this podcast next time as well. We'll
Okay.
decide the time and the ease, and we'll have another podcast. Thank you so much. If you are still here till this time, kudos to you. Thank you so much for listening to us, and we'll bring more exciting guests like Aja in our future events as well. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.